Well, hi, I'm Bonnie Curry. Welcome to another episode of From the Couch. I have, well, some interesting guys right now. Would you please introduce yourselves?
Yeah. I'm Jordan.
I'm Adam.
And they are Apollo Limited, is that right?
Well, we go by LTD.
Okay.
But we know that some people call us Limited, so it's fine.
So why? Okay, why Apollo LTD? Because I know that sometimes I'll look at that and I'll go, it's a great song, by the way. The Sunday Morning Feeling thing makes me so happy, it's silly. So that song, I was just happy to start playing it on the radio. I started listening to it and I went, more of this, all the time, all the time. This is what I want. But why the name?
Well, so it's two parts to this conversation. Number one, the name Apollo started because of all the space references. So Jordan's uncle was an astronaut.
Back up.
Yeah. You can tell more about that.
He was an astronaut in the 90s. I'm a 90s kid.
Right.
We're both 90s kids. He was active around, I think, like 91 to 98, going up. So I grew up as a kid, driving down to Florida and watching the launches, and coming to Houston and watching them, train and do all that stuff. So I kind of grew up around a space family. We grew up around it. So we were always enamored by it, always loved it, fascinated. And then we always thought Apollo would be a cool band name because
it is.
For those of you out there who have never been in a band, one of the hardest things in life, it is easier to name your children than it is to name a band.
100%. I wanted to name something, what did we decide? Like Purple Popcorn, and realized somebody had already taken that. And I went, who took Purple Popcorn?
Right. Because the second you come up with a good name that you can stand telling other people, right? A lawyer tells you that it's already used and you can't use it. So we were like, Apollo would be a really cool band, just like for what it meant in this country's history and, doing something not because it's easy, but because it's hard and all that stuff. And then
lawyer.
A music attorney. A music attorney, because they have those.
Speaking of Purple Popcorn.
Purple Popcorn. Y'all can't do that.
Our Purple Popcorn was Apollo. And he was like, look, guys, I don't care. He's like, I don't care if it's Fat Apollo, Tall Apollo, Skinny Apollo. 3 letters before it, 3 letters after, it doesn't matter. It just can't be Apollo because I can't protect that, whatever.
Right.
So we're like, on the spot. Adam and I got some paper out and we started writing stuff.
And LTD was born.
Why
because
LTD?
Because of an attorney. Honestly, it was 3 letters.
It was 3 letters. Look at the creativity, the majesty of what went into that.
You can make LTD mean whatever you would like it to mean, but it's just.
See,
LTD.
I just refer to you guys as Apollo on the air. So if your lawyer is calling you after this and going, now you're seriously sued.
Eventually we'll have like Apollo and then in little letters
Tiny,
LTD.
little, like if you squint in the right light, you guys can see it. So how did you guys come together?
We were randomly paired as roommates our freshman year of college.
Oh, I love that
so
kind of stuff.
This is, I guess God had a plan way back in the day.
Right.
But we literally, the first person I met when I walked on college campus, standing in line at admissions check-in desk.
Right.
He was right in front of me. And I heard him say, and I knew on the paper, I was like, my roommate is this guy, Jordan Phillips.
Right.
And when he checked in, he said, Jordan Phillips? And I was like, Jordan Phillips from Atlanta. I was like, I think we're roommates.
Seriously.
And like the first person I met was Jordan.
Okay, so before we fill in the gaps, about a week into it, the call home, describe him to your mom. I want to hear that conversation.
Mom.
So tell me about your roommate, sweetie. What is he like?
Okay, yeah, he's cool. He's a very high energy guy, kind of ADD, but he's really funny, and he likes a lot of really good music that I like too. So
he sounds like a nice boy.
And he is a Christian mom. He's a believer.
Well, that makes me happy, dear.
He's
that
a
makes it. Is there anything that he does that kind of bugs you?
Yes, he wears his socks halfway off his feet when he doesn't have shoes on. He literally does not let his socks come over his heel.
I don't know why
they sit on like the arch of his foot and like just drape off the front of his toe.
And then they eventually come off in the apartment or the dorm room or the bed, wherever, and then they get lodged in cushions and stuff. I've done it forever.
Wow.
My wife would say the same thing.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to reverse that, and I'm going to be a different mom with him. Okay. Hello, dear. How are you? Well, how is? Oh, I've got you. All right, darling. I'm not going to make you feel badly about this, but I mean, I am your mother. You haven't called me in days, and you haven't told me about your roommate. What is he like?
He's all right. He likes the Beatles a lot. So we've been sitting around playing Beatles songs in the dorm room. And I mean, it'd be a lot of the same thing that he said about me.
Are you eating? Are you eating
We're
your
not
vegetables?
eating-
Are you
actually-
eating your vegetables? Your father and I have talked about that. You don't eat enough of your vegetables. I mean, what does he like that you like? What else?
Well, I mean, we play a lot of tennis at the tennis courts, and then we get really competitive. And he may or may not have chucked his racket at the net and hit me in the back of the head. This all happened, by the way. I can't believe we're going here. We're going
Aggressive.
Here. So
Aggressive.
we're playing. Honestly, it was like we met each other and we literally like turned
Clicked.
into brothers.
It was
Clicked.
Like we
brotherly.
literally
clicked.
turned
Really
into
clicked.
brothers. And so we hung out all the time, went everywhere, did everything, and we'd go on campus. We'd go play tennis. And then about like halfway through a game, it'd start to get kind of close.
Well, here's
because
what's-
we're both not very good.
If you've had a brother, yeah,
both
I was gonna say, if you've had a brother, this is what you understand.
What I'm gathering is they're not very good at this
No.
game at all.
No.
Continue.
And we both knew that. It's like, you're not very good, I'm not very good, but suddenly it's like, who can be a little bit better? You know, it's like it
Wow.
automatically just becomes
Wow.
competitive. Very brotherly. Got a little heated one day playing tennis. Although this is hilarious.
Chuck
So,
into.
so
I can't wait for
can
this
I just
story.
give just a little
I
strategy?
love that I
We're
cracked
going
the
to
door to
set the
this.
table. We're going to just
Jordan's-
open up this book.
Back to 18-year-old me. Jordan, we were playing tennis, and Jordan knew that if he would just keep lobbing it like 50 feet in the air, eventually I would mess up, and like he would get the point, right? So that's
Okay.
War of attrition.
for
is-
like
is
2
my
hours.
methodology.
For 2 hours, I'm hitting as hard as
2
I can.
hours you're into this.
This is
Okay.
a
We're
long
like,
game.
we're
I'm like hitting as hard as I can.
in this.
Every time he's just like, boop, just like lobbing it up in the air, and I'm like,
I
crushing
totally
it.
love
He's
your
like,
game. I totally love your game.
Fairness,
Yeah.
it's totally
Yeah.
annoying.
No, I
it
totally
was
get
like-
that.
It was a complete mind game, and it worked, and I snapped. I like
Ah!
because after 50, like boop, 50 up, 50 feet in the air, he does one like, boom, just like dumps it right over the front of the net, and I run and I fall, trying to get this ball. And as I'm
Are
falling,
you sad you don't have video of
I'm
this?
falling,
Yeah.
I'm mad,
so sad.
and I go to just like throw my racket into the net because I'm like I'm 15 feet from the net, throw my net, and I missed the net, and it sailed over the net, and he had turned around to
Because
walk
I was
back.
already celebrating my
He was
victory.
laughing.
I was turning.
I
like
think
this
he was
to walk
laughing,
away.
and so I chucked my racket, and it's like right in the back of his head, like nails him in the back of the head.
Knocked him down?
It was.
Didn't knock him down, but
It
he
was.
He's like,
shot.
"Mm,
It was a pretty good shot, unexpected at the back of the
I,
head. So I turn around,
and I was.
and it's like, it is about to be on.
I immediately was like, dude, I'm sorry, bro. That was an accident. Like,
and the whole time,
the best part, the whole time, the court over, there are two people sitting there, like, taking a break.
just, I would be eating
Watching-
popcorn.
watching the whole thing.
I'd be eating popcorn
We
at
were
this
like,
point. I'd be like,
oh,
look
yeah.
at, he's going to go. He's going to get him. That's
Literally, their
dibs on the
faces
guy
were
in the
just-
hat. Dibs on the guy in the hat. Yeah.
Stunned. It was hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, you get
There
a
you
little
go.
bit of an idea.
Okay. See, this is what I like about knowing and sensing that people really are truly good friends. You guys are finishing and weaving a story that is both similar and very different from perspectives. And so, knowing that you
I'm like,
guys,
there's blood
right?
dripping down my.
I have stories that I tell over the years that my kids will say, we have what we call the buffalo story in our family, and it did involve being chased by a buffalo. And it went from the buffaloes are half a mile away from us to where I could feel its breath on the back of my neck. Over the years, it has changed and it's gotten much worse. So as you guys are getting through all of this stuff and you decide, okay, we're going to be musicians, we're going to start a band, we're going to do this. What was the moment that you knew this is going to happen, or we're not going to continue? What was the moment that you both decided, if this thing doesn't work out, we're going to walk away, or we're going to keep going?
The moment?
Was there any defining moment for your band when we're going to do this? This is actually happening.
So we've been making music together for a long time. We were actually in a band before this band. And I think that our story has honestly been a story of God opening a door, and we're like, okay, we'll walk through that door until it stops.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey. It's been a long journey. We've done general market music for a long time, and then when this band was born, kind of really organically, we didn't even know we wanted to be in a band again.
Right.
Like, we were in a band for a long time.
Right.
And then got out of that band, and we were just continually writing music, and ended up with a batch of songs. And a manager friend of ours was like, is this a band? Because we've got literally people are asking, like, what is this?
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know, is it a band? I guess. And it was
Clarity of vision.
honestly,
Not existing at this
God
point.
is my witness. Like, we had no intention to just like dive into being another band. But it was this one of those things where we kind of looked at each other like, I think maybe God's opening this door.
Maybe we're doing
And so did we just become a band? You
want to be in a band again?
So, and honestly, at the beginning of this band, we were not really necessarily in the faith market.
Right.
We've always been believers. We've always written music through the lens of our faith.
Right.
And we've always had truth in our lyrics, not necessarily so obvious.
Sure,
but
I
it's
totally
always been
understand.
there.
Yeah.
And when we started this band, we didn't even necessarily start in the faith space. But again, that was a thing where God just kind of like kept opening and closing doors. Like, you're not going to go this way. We're going to open over here. And I think the faithfulness and the trust is in the idea of like, all right, I think like God's opening this door, like let's just walk through it and see what he has here. And both of us now have wives, we both have kids, and this life is not an easy life.
It's not.
It's not an easy life.
No.
It's not necessarily always fun and glamorous.
No.
It has its shining moments, but it's not. It's hard.
Yeah.
And both of us in the past 3 years have looked at each other and been like, hey man, if this ended tomorrow, it's okay, because our identity is not caught up in this, but like it's really been an obedience game for us. Just, if God opens the door, let's go. Are we still being inspired? Do we still feel like he's inspiring us with songs and things to say? Then let's keep going. But if that day was tomorrow, where it's just like, nope, we're both okay to be like, hey, it was fun, we did it, but like we've got a whole nother life that we have left to live.
So what else would you do? So if you're not, making music together, what would be the dream job for you?
I mean, honestly, it's hard for us to imagine doing a whole lot else.
This is all we've done.
This is all we've ever done.
Right.
So to be clear, like we're over a decade into our music career. So to be honest, all we've ever done is we dug holes for a landscaping company in East Nashville.
Nice.
That was great. I lost 40 pounds. My mother and father did literally. I remember the phone call when my mom was like, we're like legit.
Honey, I'm worried about you. You're looking so skinny
worried
right
about
now.
You're are you anemic? What's the matter? What's going on?
Are you anemic?
Oh, we were so poor about it.
You need to eat some red meat.
I remember his parents drove up to Nashville and took him to Costco.
Okay, wait. We're going to start this segment. We're going to call it, How Poor Were You?
Very poor.
We would dinner. Honestly,
I love these types of stories.
None of what he's about to say is an exaggeration.
I'm not
I know where he's
exaggerating.
going.
Our dinner would be an 89-cent can of seasoned black beans, because you need the seasoning for the extra flavor.
Little spice.
Seasoned black beans with shredded like cheddar cheese in the microwave. That was dinner. Like we had 6 guys piled in a house to like get rent down. Just like I'm telling you, we made no money.
Right.
And I remember he had lost like 40 pounds because we're not eating well. We're landscaping in Nashville in a similar kind of heat here in Texas, where you're just shedding
and
pounds.
also playing like 200 shows a year.
Yeah, and touring.
In this
Oh
old
my
band
gosh.
And so his parents drove up to Nashville because they were legit concerned about his
I
health.
need to meet your parents because I love your parents at this point.
They were legit freaked out.
Worried about like his health. And they went to Costco and they dropped like $300 in groceries at Costco. And I remember Jordan came home with just like bags. And I sat across the room. I was like, you gonna eat all that hummus? You gonna share the hummus?
There's no sharing of the hummus.
Size of hummus,
Oh my gosh.
We couldn't buy hummus. But he could.
You guys, this is so good. Oh my!
So you weren't sharing it with any of your roommates. You were just.
I might have shared some of it, but man, those were the days. But you know what's funny about all that is like, not that we would want to go back to that, but
Not missing the beans and the
we're not
cheese in
missing
the
the beans a whole
microwave
lot.
days.
But we are grateful for that season of life.
It teaches you things.
It really does. It does, and it gives you a capacity for gratitude that I don't think you can manufacture on your own.
No.
Because when you honestly lived through those seasons of life, it builds up resilience. It builds up work ethic. It builds up a lot of really good things. God develops a lot of characteristics and a lot of traits in you. Because I think it really does reveal like what you're passionate. You know what I mean? It's like if you want it, if you
want that
really
dream, you got to
believe
work
that God
for
has
it.
called you to do it, and you're there with a mission and a purpose, it's only going to serve as fuel for the fire for going forward. But for us, it was like, I think that it also has given us a capacity to be really grateful for what we've got right now. 'Cause,
Yeah.
things are very different in our lives, families, wives. We've got, a career doing this. We get to hang out with you guys. It's like but it's because of all of that we can really be present.
And it's funny because even how hard those times were, now looking back, it's such fond memories. And
joy.
so like there's so much just raw joy in that time.
Yeah.
And enthusiasm.
Yeah.
We were so young and enthusiastic.
Yeah. Some of the hardest times in your life turn out to be the things that don't just forge who you are, but sometimes the greatest memories that you have in your life, because it is so easy to forget how you really struggled. You know what I'm saying? When you have the things that you need, that you can actually buy your own hummus. It's those moments that you look back. I think back when my husband and I were first married, and we had an apartment that, I kid you not, because we're very tall, we had a king-size bed that occupied the entire bedroom. To actually get out of the bed and into a bathroom, you had to jump from the bed because there was nothing between the wall and anything.
That's awesome.
And our kitchen was so small that you could not be
2 people.
No, it had to be, okay, you come out and I'm going to do this. And I look back on that time and I remember we were so happy.
Yeah.
We were poor, we were so poor. But at the same time, it made us who we are today. We're strong and resilient. So what are the things, if you were to say, what are you today the most grateful for right here, right now? What is just welling up in your heart for gratitude? What is it in your life right now?
First thing that comes to mind is community. I've been so blessed to have, I mean, we have recognized how rare it is. We've been friends for 14 years.
That is.
That, and not just like, oh, we've known each other, been friends. Like we have done life step for step.
And you still seem like you like each other. So that's cool.
We do. We still like each other.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a miracle. So no, but the fact that we've had this.
Notice he did not disagree with that. Like I'm just going to put that out there for you, brother. That he did not fight that statement. Like he was like, no, he is. He really is.
But just grateful for our relationship. We recognize how rare it is, but also just like our wives, the friends that we have in Nashville, the community of people that we've been blessed with. Like community is, it's critical for for the body of Christ coming together, building each other up, encouraging each other, helping get through seasons. It's everything. So I think community is first.
What about you? What are you grateful for right now?
So one really great thing about 2020, there's a lot wrong with it, right? A lot happened.
Yeah.
We know. We thought we were going to be gone for most of the year. You know, we thought we were going to be out on the road. In fact, we were on tour. We were on the roadshow tour out with like Bethel and a bunch of artists when everything got shut down in March or April of 2020. And we got to go home all of a sudden.
Right.
And then this year just took a 180 and we were home all year. And we both have kids and wives. And so now, so we got to spend almost a year, 12 months pretty much at home, watching our kids grow up literally in front of our eyes, especially when they're that little.
Yes.
It's like every day.
Changes
there's
every day.
Oh, I mean, it changes every day. And, you know, and so now we're traveling again. Now we're back out on the road.
Yeah, so how does it feel?
It's once again, because of where we've come from and because our wives support us and love us and encourage us, and we're very fortunate for that. We're very grateful to be out working and on the road. But I have to say, we miss our kids.
It's
harder. We miss our wives.
It's harder.
We really do.
It's been for sure.
Yeah.
And so, and having that year where you're just like, I mean, literally
Deeply dug
every
in.
day
Yeah.
at home. And so right now, I am, and I know Adam feels the same way. I think we're both really grateful just for the support of our wives, because that doesn't go unnoticed, unappreciated, and we're very grateful for that. But also just our kids, and getting to spend time with them. So, you know, for us now, it's like a lot of early morning flights to bus it home and try to get home by 7:30 a.m. so that we can
be there,
see them before
My
they go to
son's
school.
birthday is this weekend. Literally, we're flying out at like 6 a.m. so we can get home by 7:30 to be there for a birthday, because it matters. It's like you don't get these days.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And it's because of that stuff for both of us that I think that like it's put career things in perspective.
I bet.
You know, and I think that a lot of people have, you know, it doesn't matter what you do for a living, but I think a lot of people would identify with this too. It's like when you're young and you don't have kids, you know, it's all just gung ho, go, move, let's do this, let's do that. And then all of a sudden kids come into your life, and it's true. It's cliche. It's so
Changes
but
everything.
It changes
Yeah.
everything, and you begin to, by the grace of God, begin to put things in their proper perspective and priority.
Yeah.
Yes, perspective and priorities.
Yeah.
And those change. And so for us now, it's kind of like we're out here doing this. We're away from our families, because we believe that God has called us to do it and we're passionate about what God's doing.
Right.
But also because we're out here providing for our families.
There you go.
You know, and that's also important. So
You're loving
Anyway.
what you do. I can tell you both love what you're doing, but you know that's the day job.
Yes.
And
Yep.
getting home to your families. So putting things in perspective and having the right priorities, I just want to pat you both on the back and say, well done.
Wow.
That's a life lesson there from Apollo. And be careful with the LTD. We have to add that at the back end because we don't want to get sued by a lawyer. We're good.
And you can call us limited. It's fine. We know it's confusing. That's the point.
It is very funny. I quite love your music. I love the sound. You guys have got such a cool harmony. Like, I can tell you guys have been friends for a while. There's sometimes where I think families oftentimes have some of the best harmonies.
Oh, yeah.
But somebody that's been a friend to another person like that, you know each other's voices really well. You guys were practicing a little bit before we did this, and I went, ooh. They've been doing this for a bit. You guys have been doing this for a bit. There's just an anticipation of where somebody else is going. So wishing you both all the best as you guys. Hoping that you get more hummus in your life, love. It just feels like the tragedy of that.
Let the blessings flow
yeah,
upon
right?
me.
So all about
Red pepper
hummus. Apollo LTD, another episode of From the Couch. I'm Bonnie Curry. Love you.